Y'all, they can't help themselves. We've got some more quiet parts being said out loud, and the very reason of which Hakeem Jeffries, Schumer, Bernie Sanders are saying that they're going to keep holding out the special elections in Virginia. They're saying, no, it's not because of us. You need to open the government. Guys, this is a big one. Everything will be linked in the description box below. I cannot wait to hear what you guys think. And of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, because this is what I consider the cutting edge of political commentary. So let's get into this. And if you agree, let me see those planes, comments, chats, emojis. All right, not going to bury it on you. You can follow me on X at LOA if you would like, at Braden LOA if you'd like. All right, so here we go. This is something we've seen since Tuesday of last week. Everything changed when the Democrats won the special elections. All of a sudden, that became a reason to shut down the government forever, right? And it was all about the health care, right? You know, it started out, it was the Republicans that shut the government down. Then when the media turned on them on that one, it became, well, it's the Democrats, but it's because we're doing it for the American people and the health. And after that, it was basically just Republicans are meanie pantses and we can't win because our radical left base will abandon us. And then they won the Tuesday special elections. And one of those people was the Virginia governor-elect Abigail Spanberger. I'm going to show you something that she says right here at the very end of this video, is the last tab, where she completely undermines the entire new strategy of the left. But before we get into that, let me show you some very interesting similarities of what's going on in the wake of Donald Trump saying, hey, why don't we give the money to the people rather than insurance companies? The Democrats are completely ignoring it. It's so uncomfy and so unassailable, they can't even go near it. And the Sunday session of the Senate today is happening as well. Let's get into it. All right, here's Bernie Sanders, the stale bread master himself. Watch this.
Let me cut to the chase. Let me tell you what the shutdown is all about. Trump and his friends gave $1 trillion in tax breaks to the top 1%, Mr. Musk, Mr. Bezos, and all these other billionaires. And in order to pay for that, they are now doubling.
Notice, by the way, he can't say millionaires anymore because he is one. That's awkward. Don't you love a socialist that's rich? Yeah, the oligarchs of socialism are always rich. Little added bonus feature. Let's keep going.
Premiums for over 20 million Americans in the Affordable Care Act. People are getting their insurance statements right now, and they really cannot believe them and are wondering how they can pay for them. And on top of that, 15 million people next year are going to be thrown off of Medicaid and lose their entire health insurance. And the reality is that when you throw 15 million people off of the health care they have, when you double premiums and force people to lose their health insurance, tens of thousands of Americans will die unnecessarily. That is what this shutdown is about. We cannot allow that to happen. The Democrats must not cave. The American people are behind us. That's what Tuesday's election was about. That's what the polling is about. Let's stand tall. Let's protect the healthcare needs of working class and low-income Americans. Let's win this thing. Thank you.
Let's win this thing. Well, now that's very odd for somebody who's fighting for the Democrats and the people. It's weird how it was all about healthcare, and now it's about let's win this thing because everyone knows that the polling is behind us. That's always been right. And then after the Virginia elections and the Tuesday special elections, we're obviously right. The government wants the people want the government completely shut down. If you really think that, we got a different issue. But that's Bernie Sanders, socialist millionaire extraordinaire. Now let's go over here to Hakeem Jeffries. And he says something very similar. And I'm going to give you all a fair warning. I love each of you from the bottom of my heart. That's why I give you this warning. You're about to hear a lot of political BS. But it's really important to establish a baseline. And then we'll get to why this isn't going to work. Watch this. All right, Hakeem. Get out your little violin. Let's go.
Has called it a non-starter. Let me ask you, would you support a bill that would include a promise to vote on extending Obamacare subsidies? Is that something you could live with?
Let's understand that these Republicans have tried to repeal the Affordable Care Act more than 70 different times over the last 15 years. They're not acting in good faith as it relates to dealing with a healthcare crisis that they're visiting on the American people. This is the same group of folks who just enacted the largest cut to Medicaid in American history as part of their one big ugly bill. Hospitals and nursing homes and community-based health centers are closing all across the country, including in rural America, because of Republican policies. We're faced with the possibility of a $536 billion cut to Medicare at the end of this year if Congress doesn't act, connected to what they did in the one big ugly bill. And now they're refusing to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits for even a year when they just enacted massive permanent tax breaks for their billionaire donors. Does that seem reasonable?
Does that seem reasonable? Oh my God, this guy is so bad at this. All right. He plays the victim really, really poorly, which is really unusual for a Democrat. That's right, I said it. All right, let's keep on going. So there's that class injection warfare again, right? Bernie Sanders did it, the top 1%. I can't believe it, the 1%. Then Hakeem Jeffries is on the, does this sound like it's reasonable and fair, billionaire, big, one big, ugly, God, he's such a whining little, okay. This is the thing. The Republicans are not doing this. They did not create this issue. The Democrats created this issue. They put a sunset in the bill. They are the ones that passed the bill. They are the ones with the signature on the bill. They are the ones that put this sunset in. And now that the sunset is going away, they're shutting down the government and causing all this pain to use Americans as leverage to get out of their own mess of which they created. This whole BS that he keeps on spewing in this whiny little manner is really disingenuous. But let's get to the next point, because Kristen Welker, to her credit, does hold him to the fire a little bit. Watch this.
Is that the type of policy that the American people are screaming out for, as evidenced by what just happened with Republicans being wiped out in the general election last Tuesday?
Leader Jeffries, just very quickly, yes or no, do you rule out supporting a bill that would include a promise to vote on Obamacare subsidies? Yes or no?
I don't think that the House Democratic Caucus is prepared to support a promise, a wing, and a prayer from folks who have been devastating the health care of the American people for years.
All right.
Okay, you created the problem, but you know what? I didn't like it before. I don't like it now, and I'm going to be honest about it. I don't even care. All right, listen. Again, the themes here are pretty straightforward and simple, which brings us to this point of the video. The first theme is rich people versus poor people. Oh, get them. Soak the rich. It's so old and so tiresome. And then the second thing is all about the Republicans ending healthcare, destroying healthcare, and they are clearly not in the favor of the American people because of the special elections. Okay? This is the payoff right here. This is what's happening right now. There's a special Senate session going on Sunday, which are incredibly rare. And they're going to continue doing it. But I want to show you what Abigail Spanberger, the governor-elect of Virginia, says. You know, one of those states and one of those races that put the American people behind the Democrats. Watch this. The Senate will reconvene this afternoon for a rare Sunday session aimed at ending the government shutdown, although there are few signs of an imminent breakthrough. Senators are working on finalizing the text of a package of 3 long-term appropriation bills that will be part of the GOP plan to end the impasse. Thune is pursuing a strategy that would involve voting to advance the House-passed continuing resolution, as it was originally 40 days ago, and amending it to include the appropriations package known as a minibus, as well as longer extensions of government funding, a vote to begin the process that could come Sunday. So it's probably going to come today, and we're going to see. But this is the whole point. This is why I wanted you to wait till the Easter egg at the end, right here. Virginia Governor-elect Spanberger, this is one of the special elections, says we absolutely need everyone to vote to open the government. That would be the Democrats. Virginia Governor-elect Abigail Spanberger said on Face the Nation that the government needs to open immediately. She urged lawmakers to vote in favor of ending the shutdown and called on President Trump to demonstrate leadership by bringing people together on negotiation, whether it's before or after the shutdown ends. Asked whether the Democrats' sweep in key races last week, including her victory in Virginia, should be viewed as permission to hold the line in Congress and refuse to fold from their shutdown position, Spanberger said, absolutely not. She said the entirety of Virginia's economy is impacted by the shutdown with a high number of federal workers. Virginians need to and Virginians want to see the government reopen, she said, and my expectation is that we will see a Congress, a Senate, and ultimately a president driving us in that direction. Should the Democrats look at this as a silver platter to hold the line? Absolutely not, said one of the very people who are out there in the special elections of the Democrats are hanging their hat on. Even they know it's not true. And that's what I've got for you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments field below. I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.